What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week's episode, I'm going to be showing you how I created this rainbow creative color on my client Mijin. When Mijin first came to me, she told me that she eventually wanted to have rainbow hair, and she came to me with pretty much virgin hair. Her hair was all dark, so I told her it was going to take a few sessions, which it totally did because her hair is super stubborn, and we finally got her to her goal and she absolutely loves it. So this is Mijin's before. This is kind of what the toner usually washes out to for her hair. And so today we're going to work on highlighting her roots because they're pretty much grown out. And then we're just going to tone out the yellow before applying the rainbow tones on the mids and ends there. And when I highlight her roots, I'm just going to be doing my classic highlighting technique that I have shown you guys before in previous videos, and just toning her basically with 9-1, 9-2, and some clear from the pulpriot liquid Demis. And for her, I make sure that I try to lift her to about a level 9 so that she could be as ashy and bright as possible. So for Mijin's rainbow color, I'm going to be using pulpriot semis, and I'm going to show you how I mixed up her rainbow pastel tones. So whenever I mix up rainbow colors, I do like to use little plastic cups to mix up the colors. So for the purple tone, I'm just going to be using Lilac just straight. And for the pink, I'm just going to be using blush because I feel like that creates a perfect pastel pink. And then my blue will just be powder straight as well. And then for the next three colors, I'm going to be using the Tokyo conditioner as my clear base to dilute the next three colors. And then for the orange, I'm going to be using Nuclear and just a drop of it because Nuclear is a very powerful orange. And then for the yellow, I'm going to be using Satire, which is a sunflower kind of mustardy yellow. And I'm going to be using a little bit more of the yellow because it's not as pigmented as the Nuclear. And then for the green, I'm going to be using Absinthe, and just a little bit because I feel like Absinthe is a very deep true green. And whenever you mix up pastel tones, it's always easier to mix the lighter tone and slowly add in the darker tone to create your target shade. And whenever I do creative color like this, I like to swatch and test out the colors on a paper towel. That way I can visually see what the colors will look like all together. And also I can also show my client how the colors are looking, and then they can let me know if they want me to add anything or tweak any of the colors as well. So since I'm working with direct dyes, what you see is normally what you get, but I do know since I will be placing these colors on hair that is a little bit more yellow than this paper towel, I try to keep that in mind when I mix. So I try to visually see that what these colors will do on hair that is a bit more yellow than the paper towel. Another good reason why I like to swatch out the colors on a paper towel is so that I can visually see if any of the colors are too dark or too light, because when I first started doing rainbow hair, I did have trouble mixing and finding the perfect levels of rainbow because I felt like sometimes my purples were too dark. So this just kind of visually makes it easier for me to see if any of the pastel colors are too light or too dark. Also, if you were wondering what the heck I'm wearing, I dressed up as a burrito on Halloween when I did this. So since I'm applying just the rainbow on the mids and ends, I went ahead and just mostly blow dried the mids and ends since direct dye works best on drier hair. So for her color placement, I'm just going to be taking about 1 inch vertical sections down her head there and just alternating with the rainbow. I made sure to place my rainbow colors on my tray in the order of the rainbow so that it makes it easier for me to know which color is next. And whenever I do rainbow color like this, I always ask my client what color they want to see around their face first. She had no preference, so I chose pink and purple around her face because I felt like that would work best with her skin tone. And then once I did a full rainbow rotation on this side of her head, I went ahead and turned her around and began with the pink and purple on the other side of her face to keep the color as balanced as possible. And here you can see that since Mijin parts her hair to the side, I went ahead and did a side part before placing the colors. Whenever I use the pulpriot semis, it's really important to make sure that I fully saturate the hair so that the color doesn't come out spotty. To do this, I like to move around the hair and brush the color side to side and work it in the hair, but it's key to not work the color in too much because the color is conditioner based and can lose a little bit pigment if you overwork it in the hair. One of the main reasons why I love using the pulpriot semis is because the consistency of the color allows me to create the most seamless blend. It's also great because I don't have to worry about the colors bleeding onto each other once I've applied it to the hair. With this type of rainbow sectioning, it creates more ribbons instead of blended color. So when this is all dry, I will see more of chunks of the rainbow rather than blends of the rainbow. So if you've never had rainbow hair before, you're probably wondering what this will look like when it fades. So typically with rainbow hair, when it does fade pretty fast, especially if you're doing pastel tones like these, but it actually fades really pretty. She'll be kind of like an iridescent pastel color before it fades back to her blonde. And then once I was done applying her rainbow, I let this process for about 25 minutes before I rinse it with ice cold water at the bowl. It's recommended to rinse out and even wash your hair with cold water at home to maintain these types of colors because anything hot will make the color fade a little bit quicker. And voila, this is what her hair looked like right after I had blow dried it. You can see how nice and blended the pastel tones are into the blonde color. And I love how these colors aren't too bright. They're pretty wearable, but they're still pastel as well. And this is what her hair looked like styled and curled. I used a 1 1/4 barrel to give her some beach waves, and there you can see how nice and blended and pops of color you can see with the color placement that I chose. For her blonde formula, I used the pulpriot liquid Demis. I did 7.0 at the root for her shadow root, and then I used 9.1, 9.2, and clear for the blonde. And then fun fact, the reason why my client wanted rainbow hair was because she said that she had a dream and she saw that she had rainbow hair in her dream, so I literally made her dream come true. I think this color placement and technique would be great for someone who wants a taste of rainbow but is scared and not sure if rainbow will look good on them because there's still some natural blonde at the root. My client absolutely loved it, and honestly I feel like next time I see her we're probably gonna go all rainbow. But yeah, I hope you guys like this technique and learned something new from this week's episode. If you like this and would totally try this out, leave me a comment down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.